Welcome to Prism Technologies. I am Venkat. This is part 44 of ASP.NET Grid View tutorial. In this video, we'll discuss about sorting a grid view control that uses SQL data source control. Let's flip to Visual Studio. Let's drag and drop grid view control onto the web form. Let's auto format this. Let's choose brown sugar scheme. Now, we will be using table tblEmployee for this demo. To retrieve data from this table, I'm going to make use of SQL data source control. So let's flip to Visual Studio, drag and drop SQL data source control, and let's configure this now. Let's select the connection string, click next, select table tblEmployee. We want to retrieve all the columns from this table, so select star from tblEmployee, click next, test your query, finish. Now let's associate the SQL data source control with this grid view control. And look at this, the moment I do that, I get this option, enable sorting. But before we select that, let's actually inspect the grid view controls HTML. Notice that at the moment, the HTML of this grid view control does not have allow sorting attribute on that. Okay, let's flip this web form to the design mode and notice the headers of the grid view control. They are not rendered as hyperlinks, but the moment I'm going to select this checkbox, enable sorting, notice what happens to headers. They are now rendered as hyperlinks, meaning end users can click on those columns to sort the data. Alright, and then another important thing to keep in mind is once I have selected that option, enable sorting, look at this, all it has done is it has set this attribute on the grid view control, allow sorting is equal to true. That's all there to it. Let me run this now. When the web form renders, as you might expect, the headers within the grid view control will be rendered as hyperlinks upon which we can click to sort the data based on that column. For example, at the moment, let's click on the city column header and notice that the data is sorted in ascending order. Now what happens if I click on that column header once again? Look at this, the data is now resorted in descending order, meaning if you click the first time it gets sorted in the ascending order. If you click the second time, it's going to get sorted in descending order. Okay, so a grid view control that is sortable in both the directions is called as bi-directional sortable grid view control. Now if we have to sort a grid view control, that gets its data from a SQL data source control, we don't have to write even a single line of code. Alright, and if you look at this grid view control, at the moment we can sort the data based on every column, but let's say in your project the requirement is that you don't want to allow users to be sorting the grid view control on maybe gender. If that's the requirement, all you need to do is look at this, every bound column has got another attribute called sort expression. So for example, let's say I don't want to sort by gender. All I need to do is for that gender bound column, just remove the sort expression and you're done. So let's get rid of that one. Let's run this now. As you might expect, the gender column now is not rendered as hyperlink, meaning I cannot click on that, meaning I cannot sort data by that column. It's so simple. Alright. On this slide, you can find resources for ASP.NET C# and SQL Server interview questions. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.